Good afternoon, everyone. It's I think around 4:30 on Friday afternoon. This is Leah Dixon in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, and I am here to do a live video of a catalog case of the Dressed to Impress stamp set. And so I'm actually doing just a partial case. I'm going to be taking this cute little 3x3 card here on page 54 of our mini catalog, and I'm going to be showing you how to turn that into a full-sized card. So I do have our Dress to Impress stamp set to create this one, and then I'm going to be using the dies as well to create this card. So first thing we need is I've got a card base of the purple posy, and so this is cut at so it's 8.5 by 5.5 and then scored at 4.25, so standard card base. And then for a layer that will go on top of that, I have cut another piece of purple posy cardstock, and it's been cut at 4 by 5.25 so that it just leaves a little bit of a border on our card front. It's that piece that we're going to get started with. The reason I like doing this layering color on color is because it allows me to wrap ribbons around and do stuff like that and not be able to see those ribbons on the inside of the card. So we're going to use the Highland Heather ink. Hi, Catherine. I would have loved to have used the purple posy ink, but as lots of you know, there were some issues this year with that particular color, and so it's just not a reliable ink, and I don't even think they're selling it. So we're going to use Highland Heather, and what I've got here is the little polka dot stamp. And I'm going to just do some random polka dots on my card for about the top, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the card. And really random. They're mostly going to get covered up by flowers and our sentiment and stuff like that. So I'm not really overly concerned about getting them evenly spaced. Okay. So polka dots are done. Next thing we're going to do is take the kind of the lipstick smudge, and we are going to stamp that down kind of low on our card, and we're going to stamp it twice. Okay, so that's done as well. That's just kind of like a little accent that's going to be down at the bottom. You can overlap those if you want or not. Doesn't really matter. All right. Next step for this card is we're going to take some of the designer series paper. I've got the yellow stripes here that we're going to use, and I'm going to cut these. Oh, I'm just going to eyeball it. I want about a strip that's about 3/4 of an inch. How thick it actually is isn't actually super important. And then I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. This part does matter because that base that we're gluing it onto is 4 inches wide, and so we want this to be the full width. All right, so that part does matter. And then we can go ahead and just glue that right down to our card base. You can use snail or liquid glue, whatever you would like to glue that onto our card front. Okay, and I'm just going to let a little bit of that purple that we stamped show out through the bottom. All right, there we go. Good afternoon, Val. So I hope you guys are all doing really well. I'm doing well. Yeah, we're actually keeping so busy. I've been having a hard time finding time to come on and stamp, which is awful. I thought I'd have all this time in the world being at home, and it's not working out that way. But it's good. We're doing lots of baking, lots of walks, lots of family time and games, so that's okay. And we're keeping busy with Noah's business as well, because he's HVAC and they're still considered essential service, so still working away. So I've got invoicing to do for him and stuff, so keeping busy with that. And just finding out what's going to happen with us next week for teaching and how that's going to work online. All right, so what I just did there was I took some of the sheer linen ribbon, and this is in the mint macaron. This is part of the dressed or best dressed suite. And so I just took a piece of that and made it long enough that I'm going to be able to come in here on the side and tie a bow. All right, so I am going to actually start by tying a knot and then tie my bow off of that. And once I've got my knot, I'm going to do 2 little bunny ears. So in the catalog, they actually didn't tie this as a bow. They just did a strip of ribbon cut on a diagonal on the card front. But I wanted to add in the little bow and everything here instead of having to glue this ribbon down to the card front. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to grab my scissors and just trim up the edges of the bow. All right, there we go. So I hope you guys are finding ways to keep busy during this time and hopefully getting lots of time to stamp and be with family. So that is pretty much done for now. We are going to put that onto our card base using some dimensionals in just a few minutes. But first of all, we're going to start working on the other features for this card. So I've just grabbed a piece of scrap Whisper white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp both flowers from our stamp set. So there's a single flower and a double flower. I'm going to stamp both of those. And then I'm actually going to stamp them a second time. And I'm using Smoky Slate to do this. And then I'm going to stamp the Hello Fabulous in Smoky Slate as well. All right. Oh, you made your first card for June. Wow, Val, you are way on top of things. I don't even have my April cards done. How sad is that? All right, so now that we've got all these gorgeous flowers on here, I'm going to use my Light Daffodil Delight blend. You could use a blend, you could use a felt pen, you could use an ink, and they actually have like little watercolor background stamps. So like these 2 little blobs, you can actually ink those up with the Daffodil Delight and stamp those to color in these flowers. However you want to get these colored in, I just love the blends. They're fast, they're simple, and they're right in front of me. And I don't have to clean anything after I've used them. So, works for me. All right, now the next thing is if you have mint macaron, go ahead and use that for your leaves. I do not, so I am using my light Granny Apple Green to color in my leaves, and it'll be fine. Any green will do. Use your old olive, whatever you have on hand. And again, blends, felt pens, watercolor markers, it really doesn't matter. Just get some color on there. You could even use a blender pen and your old olive ink to get those colored in. All right, so I'm going to bring my Big Shot over. And, oops, using my die cut machine, I'm going to use 3 of the dies from this bundle. So we have this really cute little label. This is meant to make like a little pocket on the purse because the dies come with the die to make the purse as well. And then we've got dies here to cut out both shapes of flowers. So we'll pop this on here, and I may end up needing some washi tape. Hi, Janice. May end up needing some washi tape to hold these in place. Sometimes when we're using the magnetic plate and a bunch of dies, they kind of start to pop around on us. So I've just got some old washi tape here, and so I'm going to line up my dies. I'm actually going to do this turn so I can see it. All right, so once I've got that lined up, I'm just going to put the little piece of washi tape there to hold it in place. Now we won't be able to cut out all these flowers at once. That's fine. I'm just going to do That one there. I'm going to use washi tape because these flowers are so close to the edge. I don't want it sliding on me at all. All right, just like that. And one more. And then we'll just have to run the other flowers through a second time. All right, get that all lined up. And pop that in. Okay, so those are ready to run through. One set done, we'll put those off to the side and we'll get our second set of flowers. Okay, there we go, and one more. So the second time is always a bit faster because that tape's already on our die. So once we get it lined up, we just press down and we're good to go. Okay. And see, I sure would like the sun to come back. The last few days have not been gorgeous. I'm not making the purse or the little backpack. No, I will probably come on tomorrow. I haven't actually had time to play with that die yet, and I don't really want to do it live. I'd rather play and figure out all the tips and tricks before I come on live with that. I'm just casing actually one of the mini cards on page 54, but I'm turning it into a regular size card instead of a 3x3. All right, so pop those ones out and set all of this off to the side. Okay, so now that we have all of our pieces, I'll bring our background back in and we can start putting pieces together. So I'm going to need that flower for the front, and then we'll use those ones for up there, and then we have an extra flower for something at another time. Now, the main feature on this card is actually going to be a flower that we're going to fussy cut out from the DSP. So this DSP has the perfume bottles on one side and the flowers on the other side, and we're actually going to grab our scissors and fussy cut that. So let's see, I had them just a moment ago. There we go. So when I do this, I'm actually going to choose one that's kind of in the center of the page, and when I cut it out, I am going to keep like a bunch of the foliage around it as well, and then I might even cut out some extra. So come in this way. Oops, too close to that one. So yeah, all right, and I'm not going to keep the beautiful little blue flowers that are a part of this. I'm actually going to cut those off and just keep the greenery as I'm cutting this out. It's quite a beautiful paper, but altogether it's a little bit of a loud pattern, and so I love the idea of just taking some of this and using it as a focal point on a card. I think that's a really neat idea. It's always fun to go through the catalog and kind of look at the things that they've made, play around with them. Often I'll like modify it, like in this case taking a 3x3 card and turning it into a full-size card, or playing around with some of their layouts but changing up whichever, you know, DSP or stamp set they've done it with, and getting some good inspiration that way from the catalog. I'm awful. I have all of my catalogs like all the way back to like the 90s. It's kind of crazy. All right, we'll come through, but you know, it's really nice because if you've got a stamp set, you can go back and look and see what they did with it, or if you're just needing fresh ideas, you can go in and see, you know, make the old new again. All right, there we go. So I've done that fussy cutting, pulled that piece out, and now when I go to work with this, I'm definitely going to keep those flowers there, but I'm actually going to cut these off, I think, and lay them under near the top side of our flower. All right, so yeah, I'm going to actually lay that in underneath. So I'm going to grab some mini glue dots to kind of put these back in to the spots that I want them in and in the way that I want them. Like even these, I like these here, but I want them turned a little bit. So I'm going to cut them off so that I can put them back in underneath like that. These ones as well. All right. So on my card, I am going to have my flower. I'm actually going to move all of this. My flower is going to go right here in the center, and then I'm going to put my foliage back underneath. And so I kind of want it to go like that and like that. So at this point, I'm going to grab some mini glue dots, and I'm going to put the glue dots on the tips of the leaves where I'm tucking them under, and then pop that under and press it down. And just do that for all 3 of our leaves. And I'm also going to tuck in some of these flowers that we created behind our larger flower. All right. So if you don't have the DSP, you could use any old DSP and then grab like a larger flower stamp from one of our other stamp sets. And that would work as well. I'm thinking there's that beautiful day that has the butterfly and the flower would be a really nice one to do this with as well. All right, so this one I'm going to cover up this foliage, and I'm going to tuck this flower in underneath, right up here. Tuck that in like that. This one I'm going to cover up this foliage. And I'm going to tuck this one in over here. Now that's kind of become the center point of our card, but I don't want to put it up too high. We're going to have our Hello Fabulous there, and then this is going to be tucking in underneath like that, like just kind of sticking out. And now all of these things I'm going to put on with dimensionals, I think. Actually, maybe I'll put that flower straight flat down. Yeah, actually, I think we'll use just glue and glue this flower straight down, and then we'll use the Hello Fabulous to pop, or use dimensionals to pop up the Hello Fabulous. So I'm just going to come in here with a small amount of glue on the back of each of these pieces. And kind of try and get that where I'd like it. Center-ish. Okay. And then we're going to glue that one down. I'm going to grab some dimensionals for the back of our sentiment. And those are kind of big. Oh well. Could have used mini ones for this, I suppose. Alright. So celebration is coming to an end. We've got a few more days until March 31st to earn some awesome celebration sets, or to sign up and get the incredible deal on our starter kit, which includes some DSP and a cutter, stamp set of your choice, and $165 in product. So it's really a crazy deal. And that's all available until March 31st. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. And yeah, other than that, we're I'll be showing you next week a really beautiful set that's coming out for April as well, called Ornate Garden. And so that'll be next week that I'll be showing you some of that. And we're just kind of chilling, cooling our heels, doing some stamping, staying inside, and hopefully we'll all get through this healthy and ready to spend some time together to do some stamping. Alright, so the last thing to do on this card is to pop up the whole base that we created. with some dimensionals and put it onto our card. And then I think we'll add just a little bit of bling, because I always like a little something sparkly on my cards. So pop that up. And then we'll take a look at what I have in terms of decoration. So I actually have some of the peacock rhinestones, which would maybe be nice, but I think maybe just a little too bright. Or I actually am thinking pearls is going to be nice on this one. They're just a little bit softer in color than using, say, a rhinestone. I feel like down here we just need a little bit of something to fill in over here. And then we'll put a few up here. And there we go. All right. So that is our final card. So this is my kind of interpretation of that card on page 54 of our mini catalog. And yeah, just a fun way to use some of the items from that stamp set without pulling out, you know, the shoes and the makeup and stuff. Oh, hi Karen, thank you so much. It's just a case from the catalog with a little twist to it. So I hope you enjoy creating your own cards, and definitely use our catalog. They don't call them it anymore, I don't think, but they actually used to be called idea books, and instead of catalogs. And they really are. They're a great place to go for some inspiration when you're wondering what to do with a stamp set or looking for a color combo. So I hope you all have a wonderful Friday evening. I am so fortunate to be off to a Zoom dinner meeting with some girlfriends. I'm so excited to see people, hear people's voices, and you know, if we can't actually get together in person, I guess this is the next best thing. So I hope you all have a wonderful Friday night, and I will see you sometime this weekend with a little tutorial on how to use the little purse backpack thing from the die set that goes with this Best Dressed. Bye!